American Express has set the gold standard for food credit cards. But there's another card on the market that's very similar in rewards, but it comes with zero annual fee. Today I'm going to be putting the Amex Gold Card and the Altitude Go card in a head-to-head battle to see which one comes out on top. I'm going to be covering everything you need to know about these cards, as well as giving you the tips and requirements to get approved for these. If you find any value in this video, make sure you like and subscribe because it really helps out the channel. Alright, let's start off by comparing the sign-up bonuses that come with these cards. One of the most underrated things about opening up a credit card is the sign-up bonus that comes with it. These sign-up bonuses allow you to get thousands of dollars in value back and be able to travel the world for free. So let's compare the two sign-up bonuses that come with these cards. The US Altitude Go card is going to give you 20,000 points when you spend $1,000 within the first 90 days of opening up the card. So these points are usually going to redeem at 1 cent per point. So that's going to be valued around $200 no matter what you redeem it for, whether that's cashback, travel, or gift cards. And these points never expire. Now, if we flip over and see what the Amex Gold card is going to give you, you're going to get 90,000 points when you sign up. And to get these points, you're going to have to spend $6,000 within the first 6 months of opening up this card. Now, usually the sign-up bonus is going to be $60,000, but they have a limited time offer for 90,000 points on their website. And usually you can find this 90,000 point sign-up by going through different people's affiliate links or through different websites online. But right now you can just access it by going to their website. So you're going to get quite a few more points from American Express. And if you're redeeming it for travel, it can be worth upwards of $2,000. Now, this sign-up bonus is a little bit harder to hit than US banks because you have to spend $6,000 instead of $1,000. But you also have 6 months to do this. So as long as you're putting most of your purchases on this card, it's not going to be that hard to hit. And you have a while to hit this sign-up bonus. Plus, if you travel, the points are going to be a lot more valuable than US Bank's points. So I'm going to give 1 point to Amex Gold because of the sign-up bonus. The next category is the statement credits and the extra benefits that come with these cards. For US Bank's card, the biggest thing is the zero annual fee card, so you're always going to be getting value from it. And it also gives you zero foreign transaction fees, so if you want to use this overseas, you're not going to be penalized for that. As well as a $15 statement credit for streaming services. And that's not $15 every month. The way it's going to work is you have to pay a streaming service for an entire year, and then at the end of the year, you're going to get $15. So it's pretty much going to give you a free month of whatever streaming service you have after you put it on the card for a year. So not bad for a zero annual fee card. Now, the Amex Gold card is going to come with a $250 annual fee. So it's going to give you a lot more statement credits and benefits to try to justify that annual fee. The first thing it's going to give you is $240 worth of statement credits. And this is split up into two categories. The first is $120, which is going to be given to you in $10 every month. You're going to have to spend money at Grubhub, Cheesecake Factory, Goldbelly, Wine.com, Milk Bar, and Shake Shack. Now, most of those restaurants I'm not using, and the easiest way you're going to get value out of this is by using it at Grubhub. You can just set a mobile order for pickup for any fast food or restaurants, and then pay with your American Express Gold card, and then the statement credit's automatically going to be added to your account. You also get $120 for Uber Cash, so this can be used for actual rides, or you can use it for Uber Eats. And this is pretty much going to work the same way as Grubhub if you want to order food. Just go in the Uber Eats app and then set it for pickup, so then you don't have to pay the delivery fee. And then another statement credit they have is $100 in experience credit for hotels when you spend at least 2 nights there. So the way this is going to work is that any purchases outside of the actual room itself will be eligible to get this. So that's going to include things like dining, the spa, and then any other resort activities. And then just like the US Bank card, it's going to give you zero foreign transaction fees. And then they could throw in a couple extra insurances like baggage and then rental car insurance. So the American Express Gold card definitely has a lot more benefits, but you're also going to have to pay that $250 annual fee. Also, these statement credits can be a little bit annoying to use, and a lot of times I just see people forgetting to use the dining credits. And with the Amex Gold card, you're really going to have to use these dining credits to make the card worth it, because if you don't use the dining credits, you're going to have to spend $7,500 just to justify the $250 annual fee. So while you are technically getting more benefits from the American Express Gold card, I think you're getting more value for the Altitude Gold card because you're getting that zero foreign transaction fee protection and that streaming credit. And one thing I forgot to mention is they give you zero APR for balance transfers and purchases within the first 12 months, all for free. So I'm going to have to give the point to the Altitude Gold card for this one. Also, the $240 dining credit for the American Express card is a little bit inflated because when you purchase food through Uber Eats or Grubhub, the prices are going to be a little bit more expensive. So for example, when I go to Chipotle, my bowls are usually around $10. But when I order it through Uber Eats, it's usually about $13 when I pick it up. You're not actually getting $10 worth of value from these statement credits. It's going to be a little bit less because everything's usually 20 to 30% more expensive. So I'm going to have to give the Altitude Go card a point for the benefit and statement credits. The next category we're going to be comparing them to is rewards. And the actual rewards you're earning with a credit card is going to be the most important thing. So definitely make sure you're paying attention for this part because they give you almost the same things, but there's a few key differences. So the American Express Gold card is going to give you 4 points back on restaurants, and that includes takeout and delivery, as well as 4 points back on groceries at supermarkets, and then 3 points on flights booked through Amex Travel, and then 1 point on everything else, of course. So this covers every single one of your spending categories for food, because you're going to get that 4 points for dining in a restaurant as well as takeout and food delivery. And then if you want to go to a grocery store, you're going to get 4 points for that as well. So now let's flip over and see what the Altitude Go gives you. It's going to give you 4 points on dining, takeout, and restaurant delivery, as well as 2 points on streaming services, grocery stores, gas stations, and EV charging, and then 1 point on everything else. So when we compare these head to head, it's almost the exact same, but American Express gives you 4 points on groceries, while the Altitude Go only gives you 2. So if you're doing most of your eating at restaurants or getting takeout a lot, it'll make sense to go with the Altitude Go because it's going to give you the same amount of points, but with no annual fee. But if you're mostly cooking at home and you buy a lot of stuff at grocery stores, you're going to earn more points if you go for the American Gold. So for the rewards category, I'm going to have to give it to the American Express Gold, just because you're getting a couple more points in groceries. Now let's move on to one of the most important sections of this video, which is the redemption for these points. Because you can earn more points with the American Express Gold card, but that's not going to matter if the points aren't as valuable. So when you look at the points redemption for the Altitude Go card, like I mentioned earlier in this video, it's pretty much going to redeem for 1 cent per point for pretty much anything, which is a good thing because that's a pretty good redemption rate, and it's also really versatile. So whether you're team cashback or team travel, it's not really going to matter. Now the American Express card is when it gets a little bit more interesting, because you're pretty much only going to want to redeem it for travel. If you redeem it for cashback, you're actually going to get less than 1% per point, but when you redeem these points for travel and use their travel partners, you can get upwards of 2 to 3 cents per point. I've even seen some people say that they got 10 cents per point, but that's going to be super rare and you're not usually going to get that. The way that you redeem these points for more value is if you go through one of their transfer partners. If you don't know what a transfer partner is, that's when credit card companies partner up with hotels or airlines, and then when you redeem your American Express points through one of their transfer partners, you're going to get a boost on how much your points are going to be worth. So to give an example, if I wanted to stay in a hotel, if I booked it through one of American Express's transfer partners like Hilton, I would get a boost on how much my points are worth, making these points more valuable and letting me stay in hotels for cheaper or for a longer period of time. So for this category, it's a bit of a mix-up. If you don't travel a lot and you prefer to get cash back for your credit card points, I would go with the American Express Gold because they have some of the best redemption rates in the world. And even though this can go either way, I'm going to give it to American Express just because if you're traveling, these cards can be super valuable. But that's not to say that US Bank's cards aren't going to give you value too. Now let's go with one of the underrated categories, which is the look of the card itself. In my opinion, the American Express Gold card has one of the cleanest designs. You can get it in gold or rose gold, and it's a metal card. And we all know that one person that's always dropping their metal card on the restaurant table to try to show off. So if we compare the sleek metal look of the Gold card to the Altitude Go card, it's really not going to match up at all. The Go card used to be a metal card, but just in this last year they made it a plastic card, which is kind of disappointing. And on their website they'd say it's made of recycled plastic to try to help the environment, but realistically they're just cutting costs because they don't want to pay for that metal card anymore. So I'm definitely going to have to give the point from this category to American Express. So as far as approval for these credit cards, for the American Express it's pretty easy to get approved because you can apply for this card and see if you're going to be approved without actually giving American Express a hard pull of your credit. And after you get your first card with American Express, if you choose to get another card with them, they're usually just going to do a soft pull. And that's really nice because you're not going to rack up a bunch of inquiries on your credit report. But I still recommend having at least a 670 score to get approved for this card. US Bank's a little bit more stingy with their approvals and credit limits, and they are a relationship-based bank, meaning they're going to be a lot more likely to approve you for their cards if you already have a checking account with them. So you can go and open up a free checking account with them and put some money in there before you get this card. And if you do this, you're going to get a lot higher limit. And also, as long as you have a credit card with US Bank, you're not going to have to pay any monthly fees for their checking account. It's also recommended that you have at least a 700 credit score before you apply for the Altitude Go. And US Bank cares a lot more about inquiries. American Express doesn't really care how many cards or inquiries you have when you apply for a card. So if you're trying to get the Altitude Go, don't have any inquiries within 3 months. And if you want to play it safe, wait 6 months. So overall, these can both be really great options, and it just depends on your personal spending habits. I'm personally going to get the Altitude Go. For me, it makes more sense to get the Altitude Go because I don't really travel a lot, and I also don't want to have to pay that $250 annual fee. For the American Express Gold card, this card is going to make a lot more sense if you spend a lot on groceries, and also you prefer travel over cash back. The only problem I have with the American Express Gold card is people forget to use the statement credits, or they just don't want to go through the hassle, so then the rewards that they're earning don't justify the annual fee. Let me know your guys' thoughts down in the comments, and tell me which card you think you're going to get better value from. And make sure to go watch my full breakdown of US Bank's credit cards after this one.